Hello students. Now we will talk about two kind of respiration. One is aerobic, another is anaerobic. Aerobic respirations, you know, that complete breakdown of glucose. Okay, means one molecule of glucose will completely break down and converted into carbon dioxide and water, and 38 kilo ATP will produce, or 686 kilocalorie energy will produce. In nutrition chapter also I have explained that from one molecule glucose 686 kilocalorie energy will produce, okay, or in form of ATP, that is 38 ATP. Okay, so that is the aerobic respiration. And here anaerobic respiration has given that when the fast working, suppose suddenly suppose you are standing in a place, suppose some attack happens on you, so what you will do, you will just run. So that is the unusual case, means when you are running, doing, means you are doing a fast activity, okay, what your body is not supposed to ready, okay, for doing that, this kind of exercise or run or everything, the body is not used to get ready for this process, because they need a quick supply of energy. In this case, students, during the absence of oxygen, because we need to provide energy, maybe the body is not ready, but if you are running, your body will give you a backup. So a quick breakdown of glucose happens, and that time the cell is not getting proper oxygen also, because when you are running so fast, so it's the body getting only a few amount of oxygen through breathing, but it's need to provide more energy. So in that case, in absence of oxygen, inside the muscles and body cells, if respiration happens, that respiration is called anaerobic respiration. Okay, so it has written over here, fast working skeletal muscle temporarily, okay, during the continuous physical exercise, at first running, walking, everything, in this case the production of lactic acid happens. Energy also produced very less quantity, but for that time, for that moment and a quick backup, this cell need to undergo with this respiration. Okay, so this is the thing, and excess production of lactic acid, and which accumulation of lactic acid, feeling that fatigue means pain, and that this happens. Okay, when you rest after such exercise, the lactic acid gets slowly oxidized by the oxygen later available, and then depth is cleared, producing carbon dioxide in the process. Depth is clear means, you understand, means that pending lactic acid will be properly converted into carbon dioxide. When you will take rest, after some time you will feel pain, and properly in the presence of oxygen, the entire respiration happens. So here below it is the reaction of aerobic respiration. Now in next page we are following the next page. Here you can see energy released. It is for the aerobic respiration. If kilojoule, that is 2890 kilojoule, kilocalorie into kilojoule, converted into kilojoule. Okay, so these are the maybe the simple multiple choice question, or small short type of question can be come that one molecule of glucose breakdown produce that kilojoule energy. You have to read the question. You should not write 686. You have to write 600. You will write 686 when there is kilocalorie. Okay, so this type of confusing question may become. Okay, and 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joule. You know that in physics you have the idea. So here students, in term of ATP, you can see the above equation can represent in the term of ATP. So 420 kilocalorie, you to know, some converted into ATP and some converted to produce heat energy. So in between 686 kilocalorie, some converted into 38 ATP chemical energy, it will store, and other 420 kilocalorie converted into heat energy. So here also, student, 38 ATP means 1 ATP is equal to how much calorie you can calculate. Okay, 1 ATP is equal to requires 7 kilocalories. Say 1 molecule of ATP requires 7 kilocalories. So 38 ATP produce how much kilocalorie? You can understand by this process, 266 kilocalorie. Okay, and and if you add this 266 kilocalorie with 420, you will get 686. Okay, so this is the all addition and subtraction process. You know it, you will go through it once. Now anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration, students, you know, in plants it generally the plants it will produce ethanol, or in muscle it will produce lactic acid. Animal cells particularly produce lactic acid. Okay, so this is the okay, so there is some special points to be noted in the above chemical reaction in anaerobic respiration in elements. So anaerobic respiration in animal, students, you note it down. In case of animals, mostly means lactic acid will produce, but in case of plants, their ethanol also produce. You know that in anaerobic production of wine and the liqueurs, that is also the anaerobic respiration procedure. Okay, so here for the animal, that's why it has written the lactic acid, and only 2 ATP will produce and other heat energy. So special point, it is a slow process, and the reaction cannot continue for long time. The production of lactic acid has a toxic effect on cell, which cause muscle fatigue and HS. No CO2 is produced. You know that total energy released per molecule of glucose is much less compared to the anaerobic respiration. Okay, so students, here it has given also a proper difference between aerobic respiration in plants and animals. So in plants you can see here ethanol, carbon dioxide, and animals there is only lactic acid will produce. Okay, now students, the next topic is parts of respiration. Students, there is 4 parts of respiration. First, breathing, gaseous transport, tissue respiration, and cellular respiration. Okay, so what happened in these different parts we will explain here. First, you can see in human, as in most other animals, there are 4 major parts of breathing. Breathing, physical process in which atmospheric air used to taken, okay, and taken in and force out of the oxygen absorbing organs, lungs. Okay, and the second, gaseous transport, the second part. First part to breathing, then gaseous transport means oxygen absorbed by the blood in the lungs, carried by RBC as oxyhemoglobin throughout the body by means of arteries. Okay, the carbon dioxide from tissue transport similarly. Okay, carbon dioxide will move out as bicarbonate, means carbon dioxide it will dissolve as bicarbonate, or carbaminohemoglobin, as the carbaminohemoglobin it will just move out. Okay, just I will explain very properly after some time. Just now read this thing like this. Okay, after this tissue respiration, the terminal blood cells, that is capillary, deliver the oxygen to the body cells or tissue where oxygen diffuse through their thin walls in the way. Means when these things happens, these both gaseous transports happens in a tissue. Tissue means composed of cell. Okay, some cell together form tissue. Okay, from tissue now it come to the cellular level. Okay, means one by one the step parts has related to each other. Now the cellular respiration. So here just you can check over here. I am explaining. Students, when you are just breathing the air, so this air contain oxygen with other gases. So when it will reach inside the lungs, so inside the lungs there is several things. What just I will suppose to explain in the next part, organs. They will just absorb the oxygen, and after absorption of oxygen, this oxygen, so you need to reach up to the cells. Suppose your lungs is here, in the chest area. There the absorption of oxygen happens. Suppose the respiration occur in leg, so you have to means the body need to send that oxygen to the leg. How it will send? Through the blood vessels. So students, here you can see these are the blood capillaries, and this is the tissue. This tissue can be present in the leg or head, anywhere of the body. So blood cells, capillaries, arteries and veins, every portion of the body it has present, because it is the, you know that circulatory system, it will, the function of blood is, arteries and vein is to take the oxygen to and bring back the carbon dioxide, whereas take the food particles also to each and every cell. So it is the transport. In the transport systems, head is the capillaries and arteries. Okay, so it need to transport. So when it will transport, so I think you can understand the gaseous transport. When the oxygen, so how it will transport? When you just breathing in the air, that oxygen combine with the hemoglobin present in the RBC, red blood cells. So in blood also, you know, in blood 60% of the blood is plasma, and 40%, near about 40%, you know, that is the red blood cell, white blood cell, and the platelets. Okay, so red blood cell, that partake oxygen attached with red blood cell and form inside the red blood cell there is hemoglobin present, so attached with the hemoglobin. Okay, suppose this is red blood cell, can you imagine, not with the blood, inside the blood several components, inside the blood there is red blood cell, and inside that there is in hemoglobin, and with this hemoglobin Hb, that is the symbol of hemoglobin, with this hemoglobin that oxygen O2 used to attach, and this will carried by the RBC, means by the blood, every part of the body, each and every cell. Okay, so that is the form of oxyhemoglobin. Similarly students, when it will reach to the cell, means tissue respiration or cell respiration happens by this way. When it will reach to the cell, what happen? You can see here tissue cell, and this is the blood vessel. Okay, red blood cell, white blood cell, everything present. So red blood cell just give out the oxygen. He see this portion. So red blood cell, inside the red blood cell hemoglobin attached with oxygen, that oxygen transferred to the cell, means tissue cell. Similarly the tissue cell will just give back the carbon dioxide. So maybe you are thinking, sir, from where the carbon dioxide comes in the tissue cell? Student, by the process of respiration. Already to their respiration is running, so where the carbon dioxide produced, how did that will come out? That will come out by this process. This exchange, gaseous exchange happens. Oxygen enter the tissue cell, carbon dioxide come to the blood vessel. Similarly student, that carbon dioxide attached with the RBC by the form of carbamino hemoglobin. Okay, oxygen attached at oxyhemoglobin, and carbon dioxide attached at carbamino hemoglobin, whereas some other portion of carbon dioxide used to dissolve in the blood plasma, because blood has little bit plasma, some portion of blood is blood plasma. So inside the plasma some portion of carbon dioxide also used to get dissolved in the form of bicarbonate. Okay, so I think everything becomes crystal clear, all the procedure becomes crystal clear. Okay, so students, move to the next portion. Here next class I will explain the respiratory organs. So here little bit before leaving the topic, here already has given that where does respiration occur in the cell? You know, glycolysis happens in cytoplasm and Krebs cycle in mitochondria, and what the necessity things has already I have explained. So you just once again read this thing, you can understand. And next topic, next class I will talk about the respiratory organs. Okay.